having an argument. His mom walks away and he storms into his room and slams the door. How can Billy and his mom communicate and resolve their conflicts? Hi, my name is Emily Carr, and this is my informative speech. Communication is vital to resolving conflict, and by learning about verbal and nonverbal communication and putting them into practice will help resolve your conflicts. The first communication key I will be discussing is verbal communication, which is defined as words or sounds that express how you feel. In Anatomy of Communication, Avni Eisenberg discusses the elements and rules that style and language use in verbal communication. Have you ever heard the saying, "Sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me"? This is a very false statement because words can be hurtful and can trigger different emotions and cause mental damage. When speaking to a child, you can speak firm, but use words of encouragement rather than breaking them down. We use style in our everyday life, whether it's the way we walk or the way we talk. Two communication styles are assertive communication, which is the influence on someone's decisions, and expressive communication, which is the effort to control your own emotions. When you are communicating, which style do you use? Knowing which style you use and knowing its strengths will benefit you greatly in a situation. Another communication key is FLASH. FLASH is the acronym that stands for fear, love, anger, sadness, and happiness. This is a way to express your feelings. For example, I am feeling happy because I finished all of my homework today. In the situation with Billy and his mom, Billy could say, I am feeling angry because my mom is not listening to what I'm saying. This is a great way for a parent and a child to express how they are feeling. Another form of communication is nonverbal communication. In a way, means being silent. When using nonverbal communication, it's good to give another person space and give them time to think. When dealing with a child, sitting them in a timeout and letting them think about their words and their actions. Face-to-face nonverbal communication is very difficult, or is very complex. Learning how to read emotions will also help you learn the motivations, the trustworthiness, and intentions of another person. It can also reveal, are their intentions malicious, are they lying, or are they just being foolish? Reading someone's emotions will also give you an idea on why the situation is so important to them. Another nonverbal communication key is body language. This expresses your thoughts. Often, posture equals attitude, so if a child has good posture, they most likely have a good attitude, and bad posture is a bad attitude. The way that your child's body is turned will determine their openness in the conversation. Verbal and nonverbal communication are very important, but when your child is expressing their feelings, how are you going to respond? In the book, How to Communicate by Matthew McKay, Martha Davis, and Patrick Fanning, they state, when you listen assertively, you give all attention on others without interruptions, so that you may hear their wishes. There are 3 steps to listening. You must prepare, listen, and acknowledge. You should prepare your heart so that you are in the right place before listening to them. And when you're listening, you must give them your full attention. And if they give them their full attention, and if you're not sure how they are feeling, simply just ask. And lastly, you must acknowledge their feelings. Validate them and let them know that you are there. The book Messages tells us that being an active listener, you must be open. So how are you going to respond? As I mentioned before, you must validate their feelings and acknowledge them. Along with validating their feelings, you must also express your own feelings to prevent resentment. Resentment is like a jar of marbles. Each unsolved conflict, you add marbles into your jar. And over time, the jar will fill up, and eventually the jar is going to shatter. Once this jar breaks, your emotions can explode, causing anger and broken relationships. So how could Billy and his mom communicate to resolve their conflict? They could start off by being silent and be silent and thinking about their actions. Next, they could use the acronym FLASH and tell each other how they are feeling. And lastly, they can listen and acknowledge each other's feelings. As I conclude, we will have a time for anybody who would like to ask questions. Yes.
When using FLASH, is it important for both sides to express how they feel?
Yes, it is very important for both sides to communicate and both sides to listen and express their feelings. Yes.
Are these strategies only for resolving conflict with your child?
No. You can use the different tools, learning how to express your feelings using FLASH, learning how to listen, and also learning how to validate their feelings will help with anybody, whether it's your child, your spouse, your friend, or your coworker. Yes.
Could you give an example of what might happen when a resentment jar bursts?
Yes. After the marbles fill up in the jar and your resentment jar breaks, it can cause mainly two different things. For somebody with the stored up anger, they could let it all out, becoming verbally abusive to different people, or they could also become silent and go days or weeks or even years without speaking to somebody. Any more questions? So remember, communication is vital to resolving conflict, and learning verbal and nonverbal communication along with listening will help you resolve your conflicts in the future. Thank you.